Prime time. Prime time, 1 p.m. on a Saturday. The big boy slot. The Caitlin Clark legendary slot. Saturday. You got Paige Bueckers going into Indiana to see Caitlin Clark. That's the biggest game.
This is where the situation shifts from exciting to borderline surreal. The WNBA didn't just tease a few marquee games. They released the entire 2026 schedule, every matchup, every date, every road trip, without having a finalized agreement with the players. That means Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers on Saturday, May 9th, is officially scheduled, promoted, and being marketed, even though there's still no guarantee a season will actually be played. Think about that for a moment. The league and the players have not resolved core issues like salary structures, working conditions, benefits, or long-term financial protections. These are not small details. These are the fundamental elements that determine whether athletes step onto the court at all. And yet, tickets are being prepared for sale. Arenas are being booked. Promotional materials are rolling out. From a player perspective, this looks wild. You're watching the league act as if everything is settled while negotiations are still very much unfinished. It creates a strange disconnect between presentation and reality. Fans see polished graphics and exciting matchups, but behind the scenes, basic agreements are still unresolved. Releasing a full schedule without a CBA is essentially the league saying, we're moving forward regardless. It puts pressure on everyone involved. Players now face a public countdown clock. If negotiations fail, it won't just be a canceled season. It will be canceled games that fans were already planning to attend. That pressure isn't accidental. It's strategic. The risk, of course, is backlash. If games don't happen, fans may feel misled. Players could be unfairly blamed for disruptions they didn't create, and trust between the league and its athletes could take a serious hit. But from a league standpoint, delaying the schedule would also create uncertainty for teams, sponsors, broadcasters, and venue partners. So instead of waiting, they chose to push forward aggressively. The optics are fascinating. The league is projecting confidence, stability, and inevitability, while negotiations remain unresolved. It's essentially a game of chicken played on the biggest possible stage. The question isn't whether Clark versus Bueckers will draw attention. It absolutely will. The real question is whether excitement can outweigh unresolved labor realities. Right now, the league is betting that it can.
See, it has officially happened. What have we seen consistently? You know the Indiana Fever is the biggest game on the schedule. You know Caitlin Clark is the biggest game in the world. You know she's going to bring in the most viewership, the most tickets, the most everything. All eyes are going to be on Caitlin Clark, especially opening night. People ready to see how she bounced back for this MVP season that's loading after injury. All of a sudden, Angel Reese does not get to go against Caitlin Clark in the season opener. Kathy Engelbert, the owners, they see it. They see it. The Indiana Fever played the Chicago Sky 5 times on national TV last season, with some without Caitlin Clark. None of the games were competitive. Angel Reese.
Here's what just happened, and it immediately set the basketball world on fire. The WNBA officially released its 2026 schedule, and without wasting a single second, the league put its biggest possible matchup right front and center. Opening weekend is headlined by Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever hosting Paige Bueckers and the Dallas franchise on May 9th. No build-up, no easing into the season. Just instant chaos, hype, and headlines from day one. This is the matchup fans have been begging for ever since Paige Bueckers was selected first overall. People expected the league to stretch it out, maybe save it for mid-season when storylines had time to develop. Instead, the WNBA went all in immediately. Opening weekend, national attention, maximum spotlight. From a marketing perspective, it's hard to imagine a louder statement. Clark versus Bueckers isn't just another regular season game. It's a collision of two generational talents who dominated college basketball, shattered viewership records, and brought unprecedented attention to the women's game. Fans don't have to wait months for this showdown. It's happening immediately, before anyone can even catch their breath. But there's an uncomfortable wrinkle hiding behind all that excitement. Despite releasing a full 2026 schedule, the league still does not have a finalized collective bargaining agreement with the players. No labor peace, no confirmed deal, no official resolution on salaries, working conditions, revenue sharing, or long-term protections. Yet the schedule is printed, promoted, and pushed out as if everything is perfectly settled. That contrast is striking. On one hand, the league is presenting a polished, confident front. Big games, big stars, packed arenas, and massive expectations. On the other hand, the foundation underneath all of it is still unstable. The CBA negotiations remain unresolved, which technically means the entire season is not guaranteed. And yet, the WNBA moved forward anyway. Schedules out, matchups locked, hype machine activated. It sends a clear message. The league is betting that excitement will outweigh uncertainty. That fans will focus on Clark versus Bueckers rather than labor disputes. That momentum will carry negotiations forward instead of stalling them. From the outside, it feels bold, almost reckless, but also intentional. The WNBA knows exactly what it's doing by leading with its strongest possible card. Whether the gamble pays off or backfires spectacularly remains to be seen. For now, one thing is undeniable. Opening weekend just became must-watch television, even with unresolved chaos looming in the background.
Is out, and one of the marquee things on the schedule is the...
Let's translate what's really happening. The league needs revenue flowing and doesn't want to wait for players to accept terms. So instead, it's acting as if everything is fine and hoping public pressure pushes negotiations forward. This is calculated. Releasing the schedule builds hype. Hype creates expectations. Expectations create pressure. And if things fall apart, blame can quietly shift toward players rather than ownership. That's why Chundi on my Mix ESPN appearance mattered so much. Her comments were measured, but revealing. She expressed genuine excitement as a fan while subtly acknowledging the tension underneath it all. Her world's longest staring contest line perfectly captured the moment. Players submitted their proposal. Then silence. Now the league responds, not with counteroffers, but with a full schedule. It's a power move, not aggressive on the surface, but absolutely strategic. The message is clear. Negotiations will continue, but the spotlight is now on players to respond while fans are already emotionally invested.
Explained why this went on and why it was released even without a CBA in place. What to know about the WNBA's 2026 season. Regular season scheduled to run May 8th through September 24th. Playoffs to start September 27th, so that gets pushed back a little bit. There's a break for the World Cup, August 31st to September 16th. That is an interesting thing and could add actually like some momentum to the season, I think, at that time. Commissioner's Cup from June 1st to 17th with the title game played on the 30th. And then there was the reason that this came out. The league views the schedule release as a necessary part of business operations that allows teams to start logistical planning, sell ticket packages, also to secure...
According to the WNBA, there's a very practical reason for releasing the schedule without a finalized CBA: business operations. In their official explanation, the league emphasized that schedules are essential for teams to function properly. Travel planning, arena bookings, ticket packages, sponsorship activations, none of that can happen efficiently without dates locked in. This is especially important for teams that do not own their home arenas. Those franchises compete with concerts, other sports teams, and major events for prime dates. Waiting too long could mean losing access to favorable scheduling windows altogether. From that lens, the decision makes sense. Teams need clarity to operate. Broadcasters need programming plans. Sponsors need timelines. The entire business ecosystem depends on having a schedule, even if labor negotiations are ongoing. The league is essentially separating logistics from labor talks. In their view, one shouldn't completely freeze the other. They're saying, we can prepare for a season while negotiations continue. That framing positions the schedule release as neutral and necessary rather than confrontational. It's not about forcing players' hands. It's about keeping the machine running. However, that explanation only goes so far. Because while logistics matter, players are the product. Without their agreement, no amount of planning guarantees games will be played. Still, from a corporate standpoint, this approach minimizes risk on one side while transferring pressure elsewhere. Teams stay prepared. Revenue pipelines remain possible. Momentum continues. Whether that's fair or not depends on perspective. But strategically, it's consistent with how professional leagues often operate during labor uncertainty. Prepare for the best-case scenario, even if the worst-case scenario hasn't been ruled out.
First spot as Caitlin Clark's rival. That's just the facts. And Paige can't mess with Caitlin. I'm going to keep it real. And I love Paige. Paige, best shooting guard, best two guard in the league, in my opinion. Caitlin Clark, best point guard in the league. Caitlin Clark, the best player in the league. You about to see, this is an MVP season.
Beyond the labor drama, the actual basketball storyline is massive. Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers on May 9th is exactly the rivalry the WNBA has been waiting for. Two generational stars, two consecutive #1 picks, two players whose college battles pulled millions of viewers. The league is clearly positioning this matchup as the cornerstone of its future marketing. Opening weekend placement shows complete confidence that fans will show up in droves. And realistically, they will. Clark already drives record-breaking audiences no matter who she faces. Fever games are appointment viewing. Bueckers adds even more star power. But Clark alone has already transformed league visibility. The rivalry works because of timing. They're close in age. Their careers will overlap for years. Every matchup will feel consequential. Still, let's be honest, the league didn't discover something new here. They're amplifying what already exists, Clark's unprecedented draw combined with Bueckers' elite talent. The season runs from May 8th to September 24th, with playoffs starting September 27th. A break for the Women's World Cup could even boost momentum.